What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream today. We'll be looking at the latest Arsenal transfer news, as well as discussing a few things that Arsene Wenger has said at a late night show that he was at last night. We'll also be looking over the press conference from the other day. Waffle settings, people, a day later than usual, because yesterday we were a bit short on time. There was a lot to talk about. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in as usual in the community. Yesterday we had a little drama. We had a little piece of drama with YouTube, as you see, people. A lot of you messaged me. Big up to everyone who reached out. But yeah, the Premier League said to remove a video yesterday. Obviously, for those who didn't see it, I was doing a little, my little Sky Sports piece where we look back through the game and we kind of assess this, that, the other about the game. And Sky reported the video, so YouTube asked that I remove the video on some copyright thing, some little idiot thing. So Premier League, if you're watching this, yeah, yo, I'm telling you, I'm cancelling Sky, yeah. I'll watch by other ways, You lot done that to me already. I'll start streaming Serie A and La Liga, you know what I'm saying? Like my video really mashes up your revenue that much, the amount of billions them man make. And then man want to put copyright videos in because what I showed a little 5 minutes of highlights. You know what I mean? But listen, it is what it is, people, Unfortunately, we'll have to take that out of shows in the future. So yeah, it is what it is, man. So anybody that was trying to see the video yesterday, I mean, do you know what was funny? They actually messaged me, YouTube, and said, if you remove the whole section of your video where you're showing it, then you can leave the video up. And I was like, and I took it out and then watched it back, and it was all over the place because obviously it didn't connect. I said, yo, man, tell them I'll take the video down. But it is what it is. Sky Sports, man, you lot are some greedy people. You know how much billions of pounds you lot make, and you're angry because a man showed a couple minutes of highlights. But hey, Hugh Wizzy got done by Barca and Real. Yo, see what I mean, people? Let the people live, man. You know what I mean? Now, do you know the good thing? The only good thing, though, people, it wasn't considered a copyright strike. Because for those who don't know, if you get copyright strikes, your thing's in trouble. So fortunately, YouTube said, listen, we just, as long as you remove the video, then you can carry on. So we keep going, people. We keep going. They can't stop us, man. We're too strong in this community, man. So we keep it moving. They're not handing out trophies for nothing, Sky. We're coming for you, man. Don't worry. But we're back, people. We're back today. Don't worry about them. People are always going to try stop you anyway. So you won't be seeing that section on the Monday shows, unfortunately. It might have to be dot-to-dot settings or something else. We'll find a different way. But listen, we're back today, people. Big up to every single one of you for tuning in. We was actually getting great numbers on that video as well. Lots of likes. So big up to every one of you. Make sure you smash a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're nearly at 38k. We should maybe hit that today. And yeah, we keep it moving, people. Yeah, big up to everyone who messaged me as well. People were like, yo, your video there. I said, don't worry, man. Don't worry, people. We'll be back tomorrow. They can't stop this video today. So let's talk about Arsenal, people. Let's concentrate on what we're here for. Arsenal had some good news yesterday. A couple of our players had some great news yesterday, in fact. This one here, Emile Smith-Rowe, the Croydon De Bruyne, the man in form, the young buck, the shining star of late, gets his England call up. Well deserved. Well deserved. Now listen, he got it because Ward-Prowse has pulled out for injury, but still there was no guarantee he was going to get the selection anyway. So Emile Smith-Rowe's been called up to the England squad. Great news for him. It's funny, I saw a report, somebody said, oh, I wish he wasn't in the England squad because now he's gonna, what if he gets injured? I said, well, when you look at it, he was in the England under-21 squad. He's one of their main players. So he would have played both games for England under-21s during the international break. Now, the reality is, he's not probably going to play both games for England, certainly not start both of them. We play San Marino in one of them. So he's bound to get a run out. He's probably going to play less football being in the England squad than he is in the England under-21 squad. So, listen, I did say before I wasn't in a rush for him to get an England call-up, but I am actually happy that he's got in there now, just as a reward for his work. And I think it helps Arsenal, you know. We want our players being called up for their national team. John Layout said, the Babylon trying to ruin the vibes. You know how the thing goes, bro. You know how the thing goes. We can't give them any reason. So we just have to, you know, we have to keep out of trouble. So, yeah, we just got to follow the rules, unfortunately. But, hey, it is what it is, people. We move, we're back. But listen, Emile Smith-Rowe gets in the England squad. I did say that, Rian. I said he'll get picked at some point. Don't worry about it. If he doesn't make this squad, he'll make the next one. Somebody will get injured. They'll call him up. Once you're in the squad, you got to keep that shirt. You got to show Gareth Southgate, listen, you can't leave me out of this squad. If he plays against San Marino, the reality is England probably win that game 5-6-0. If he's involved in that game, can he get a goal? Keep himself up there. So, listen, I think it's brilliant that he's in the squad. He's been fantastic for us. I did say the other day it was going to take time for him to get the call up due to the fact that, number one, he plays left wing at the moment for England. Southgate loves Sterling, he loves Rashford, and he loves Grealish. It was always going to take him a little bit longer to get in the squad. In the 10 role, Foden and Mason Mount, and he loves those two guys as well. He's got his opportunity now, and I'm delighted for Emile Smith-Rowe. To add to that good news, there was another international call-up, and again, well deserved. Gabriel gets his first call-up for the Brazilian national team. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Not only has the guy got great teeth, for me, the best centre-back to play for Arsenal since Sol Campbell and Kolo Touré. I've put it out there. Now, don't get me wrong, he may not have reached the levels yet of Laurent Koscielny. We can't just dismiss what he achieved at Arsenal. But I think in this partnership with Benjamin White, I think we're going to see the best central defensive partnership that we've had at Arsenal for years. Because even when Koscielny was here, Koscielny and Mertesacker, Koscielny and Mustafi, you know, he never really had that partner. I felt Vermaelen was good as well. But again, injuries kind of held him back. But this guy, Gabriel, is fantastic. And I've said this before, and like Fox in the Bin saying, listen, make sure we're handling business because wait till Barcelona gets some money. Wait till Real Madrid. You know, Real Madrid just sold Ramos and Varane. The big sharks will come looking for this guy. 23 years of age, going to be a Brazilian international, left-footed, you know, playing in the Prem, which is a massive league in world football. We got to make sure we handle our business. I would be extending his contract already. You know, I believe he signed a 5-year contract when we signed him at the beginning of last season. We're already at 3.5 years. By the end of this season, it will be 3 years. I'd be sitting him down, giving him a new 5-year contract, to be honest. I think he's a fantastic player. And interestingly enough, I believe Brazil are playing, forgive me if I'm wrong, I'm sure it said they're playing Argentina. I'm pretty sure it said they're playing Argentina, so he may be they play against Colombia and Argentina, so he's not got two easy games there, that is for certain. He could be playing against Lionel Messi, so if he's playing in those games, especially the Argentina game, maybe we'll do a watch-along for that one. Let's get a few of your comments, people. What are your thoughts on Smith-Rowe and Gabriel being called up for their countries? Barca and Madrid are in the bin, yeah, but we know they get out of the bin very quick. You know, financially, they always find money. Big up to Ali Jason, who said, where is it? It's 1 a.m. here in Sydney. I appreciate your support, bro. Much appreciated. HMT, perfect Ramos replacement, but he's one of our own. I mean, we call him one of our own, but let's see if he's one of our own if a big club came in for him. But listen, we are a big club. We have to make sure we're in a position that, you know, these clubs can't get anywhere near him. But I would definitely be extending his contract sooner rather than later. He won't start. I mean, listen, he may play one of the two games. Maybe they'll bring him on. I think it's just brilliant experience, you know, even for him to train with, you know, Neymar and Coutinho and all of these players who I'm sure he's looked up to over the years. is a fantastic experience for him, to be honest. I can see PSG or Newcastle will come for Gabby. Listen, we ain't worrying about Newcastle for now. They got to make sure they're in the Prem. Mishane said, I said it 2 years ago and stick by it. Emile has higher potential than Bakayo. It's funny because I used to say that I felt Martinelli had the highest potential out of any of our young players. I felt he had a higher ceiling than Saka. Now, Martinelli's kind of been held back, and we're now comparing Smith Rowe. What do you guys think in response to Mishane's comment there? Smith Rowe, Bukayo Saka, if you was playing a guessing game right now, who do you believe has the higher potential? Who do you think ends up the higher rated player out of the two? Listen, they're both our players. We don't mind which one it is. But, which one do you think has the higher ceiling? One Devotion said, lovely to see our players getting national recognition, fully rated. I mean, I remember one stage, I think England, the only player they were calling up was Danny Welbeck. Wilshere had been injured, and they didn't even consider our other players. So great to see our players getting in the England setup as well, in particular. Sheku said, in playing for Brazil, will miss the Arsenal game. He will arrive late. Take note. I mean, I'm looking at it, though. Brazil play on Tuesday evening against Argentina. That's the second. That's the second game that they play, and Arsenal don't play until the weekend. So I'm sure we'll be back Wednesday evening or Wednesday afternoon. So I don't see it affecting it. Alexandru said, I can't decide. I hope both of them. Gunnar Vettel said, when Saka's finishing gets better, he will be one of the best wingers in the Prem. If, we really hope his finishing hits them great heights, because he's definitely got the talent. But I do think he needs to be getting 10 to 15 goals. You look at the best wingers now in the Premier League. I mean, Salah's one of a kind. He's getting 25, 30 goals. But you look at Mane, you look at Sterling when he's been playing in the past, you look at, Mahrez. These guys hit double figures with ease every season, most of the time. And I think that's something that Saka needs to add to his game for him to become that top level. Joshua, big up, bro, said, big up, Curtis. Gladdy, SR, and Gabriel. Unpopular opinion, I thought Lauren Koscielny was overrated, in my opinion. His positional play was shocking. What I always thought with Koscielny, number one, I always felt like he had to carry the centre-back partner. I don't think Mertesacker or Mustafi were as good as him, so he was playing with somebody who was inferior to him. One thing I didn't like with Koscielny, I always felt you could bully him. I felt you could muscle him a little bit. He was tall, quick, but a little bit lightweight for me, where I just don't think you can do that to Gabriel. I haven't really seen anybody physically just bully Gabriel, and that's what I like so much about him moving forward. GB said, Saka has a higher ceiling than ESR, and I agree with you, Curtis. Martinelli has the highest ceiling of the young brigade, but Martinelli probably has the lowest floor as well. I mean, listen, I just love Martinelli. I really do. I want to see him get more of a chance. I'm going to put Granit Xhaka mode on, people. We're getting into slow mode. A lot of comments coming in. I don't want to miss your comments. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Nearly 1,000 of you locked in already. Much appreciated. Where do you think Arsenal will finish this season, said Dante. Start of the season, I'll be honest, I predicted 7th. But we are starting to surprise me a little bit. I'm starting to have a little bit more faith in what I'm seeing. At the moment, I'll say top 6. I think we can make that top 6. Top 4 will be, we'll really have to perform to get there. I think we'll find out a lot in the next month. I know people say, we keep winning games, but I think in the next 4 weeks when we come back, we play Liverpool away, Manchester United away, Everton away. I think we play West Ham at home as well. I really think that will tell you where we are as a club. South London's finally said, massively overrated. Once he had that ACL injury, his recovery pace was dead in terms of Koscielny. Dan said, true Saka plays well in every position he's put in. I think what's important I think it's good when you can play in a variety of positions. I also think you have to specialise in a particular position as well. And I felt with Saka for a long time, it was like he can play left back, he can play right wing, he can play left wing, he can play in the 10. I think he's got to figure out what his best position is and stick with it. At the moment, it looks like right wing. Optimistic. Listen, I'm more optimistic than I was. I'm not doing Arteta out shows, which I was doing last year, so we've definitely improved. That's for sure. Maguire mode, yeah, slow mode for real. Craig said, Curtis, we must not get carried away. Let's see where we are come May. I mean, listen, for me, I still think we got a lot more to prove, as I've said many times. We need to, for me, we need to figure out a way of playing that also, at the moment, when I watch Arsenal, I still don't think we're playing that well. I think we're getting good results. Now, results are more important than performance, but I don't think you can continue to get good results when the performances aren't that good. When you play against better teams, you're under more pressure because you have to perform at a higher level. So I think, like I said yesterday, Arsenal have only beat one team in the top 10, and that is Tottenham. Over the next few weeks, we've got to play United, Liverpool, West Ham. Difficult games. We've got to beat teams that are around us as well. So for me, I just want to see the performances go up as well, which I think they can, and I hope that they will. And I think that if we can score more goals, definitely score more goals, I think that would make a big difference to us, because I think at the moment we're one of the lowest scorers in the top 10. And I think then you will see if we can get anywhere near that top 4 or whether we can win a trophy. For me, if we won a trophy and got top 6, I would say that is an absolutely fantastic season for Arsenal. I really would. If we can win a trophy, get in the top 6, I think that would be a great season. Just smack the like. Big up to you. Really appreciate that. Make sure you smash that like button, people. It helps the algorithm. People, like I said, still asking about the video yesterday. It was taken down by the Premier League, unfortunately, because I showed, some highlights of the game and stuff like that. They weren't having it. Somebody just put in the chat, and I want to reiterate it. Marcus Rashford has been given an MBE. For his help in the community, and the guy's been feeding the youths then, man. So I think it's important that we celebrate those sorts of achievements. The government in this country, was willing to just let people suffer during a global pandemic, and they had to be pushed by a footballer into making sure that the kids got fed. So listen, I think it's an amazing thing that he's done. And I know he's had a little bit of criticism from people saying, he needs to concentrate on football, this, that, the other. But we're the first ones to criticize footballers when it appears that they've gone away from their roots of where they came from and get all Hollywood. So I think it's almost, it's always important that we acknowledge footballers who are level-headed, who are grounded, who put back into the community, So I think he deserves huge respect. And like you're saying, that's a young king for me. It's all right. They can all go in a nightclub and pop champagne and drive Lamborghinis. What are you doing for the people where you grew up, where you came from? So I've got massive respect for this man, Rashford. I've always said I think he's a good player. Don't think he's fulfilled his potential yet. I think he can do more under a better manager. But I think it's important that we acknowledge what this guy has done for a lot of people in this country, who were struggling during the pandemic. So Marcus Rashford, congratulations, MBE, well deserved. And I think some footballers should look at what this guy's doing and the help that he's given. So yeah, big up to Rashford, man. I have to big him up. That is for certain. Let's talk about Arsenal. As we've said, people got their call-ups. Smith Rowe, England call-up. Gabriel, Brazil call-up. Fantastic. Delighted for them. And great comments. Man said, when you are chosen, you must step up. That's it. That is it. That is it. And future mayor of Manchester, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But you have to give him a lot of respect for what he's done. Arsene Wenger. Now, I don't know if anybody of you seen last night, people. There was a stream that you could watch. Do you know what? I actually didn't realize that you could go to this event. I found out about an hour before this event started. couldn't get there because it was a bit last minute. Arsene Wenger had an evening with David Dein last night where he was discussing a lot of things, and it was live streamed on the Arsenal Twitter page. I think you had to pay for it. It was a charity event. And Arsene Wenger, there were loads of headlines that he said. He was talking about, old players, old signings. He did the old, oh, we nearly signed. We've got a whole team of players that we nearly signed, people. But he went over the stories again. So just to cause you a bit more pain and anguish, I thought I would discuss what he said. How he said, Arsene Wenger said Arsenal were very close to signing Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Nearly signed FC. What was great as well, as South London's Finest saying, there was a picture of Fabregas and Wenger hugging each other. I think people always felt there was a lot of bad blood between Wenger and Fabregas, with him leaving and not coming back. Just a few things that he said regarding Messi and Ronaldo. He said, Messi, we were very interested in him. It wasn't quite possible. We offered him a deal, but Barcelona offered him a new contract. He felt very emotionally attached to Barcelona for all they had done for him and decided to sign a new contract. We also made offers for Gerard Piqué and Cesc Fabregas. Fabregas wanted to leave and we were able to complete that deal. Gerard Piqué already had an agreement in place with Manchester United and we weren't able to convince Piqué or Messi to come here. Fabregas, of course, came and was an absolute superstar. He then goes on to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo, who we know famously, Ronaldo visited London Colney, all of this business. He was, potentially hours away from signing. And David Dein said, we turn the clock back to Cristiano Ronaldo. He was spotted by our chief scout, and I said to Arsene, do you want to go and see him play? He said, we went over there to watch him with the scout, and he had a very good game. The scout had arranged for us to go for dinner after the game. We sat down with Cristiano and his agent. He gave me his shirt, and we discussed his possible wages and his role at the club if he was to sign. He told us, let us think about it overnight and we will give you a decision tomorrow. David Dein goes on to say, we thought we had the deal done. I spoke to his agent for a few hours the day after, thinking that the deal was going to be completed. 6 hours later, Manchester United blew us out of the water with their deal. It was an offer we couldn't compete with, and I think we were used by Ronaldo's agent to get more money out of Manchester United. And he said that Carlos Queiroz, who was I think he was the assistant manager at the time of Manchester United, was a key factor in getting Ronaldo to go to Manchester United. I mean, listen, it's all if buts and maybes, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Yaya Toure. We could have signed everybody, Like you said, it sounds right. How many times have we nearly signed a player and then we've been blown out of the water, Why could we, if we could see the potential in him, why did we not offer more money to get him? Those times there we had money as well. So it's disappointing, but hey, it is what it is. We've nearly signed a lot of players. Arsene Wenger has got a film coming out on Thursday. It'll be shown in cinemas this Thursday. It's called The Invincible. And it goes in cinemas. I believe it's released on Amazon on the 22nd. There was an event last night. I think Robbie went to it. Wenger, David Dein, Perez, Ian Wright. A lot of people were there. And, he was discussing a lot of things. And he said a few things in this interview. Film watch along. I mean, listen, we'll have to do something. If I see it in the cinemas, I'm going to try and go to the cinemas and watch it. We'll definitely do a stream afterwards where I will discuss everything. I don't think I should be going in there recording it. I've already got a slap on the wrist yesterday, so I have to be careful. But yeah, listen, we'll definitely do a watch along. And just an interesting thing, Arsene Wenger said this. He said, when we used to lose a big game, I felt physically sick, sometimes to the point I actually threw up in the dressing room after a defeat. It ruined my whole week until we played the next game. People don't see the effect it has on you emotionally and physically. He said he ended up splitting up with his wife, and he thinks football and his passion for Arsenal and management may have even played a part in him splitting up with his wife. I mean, one thing I say about Arsene Wenger, he's a fascinating character. He's an absolutely fascinating character. I mean, to be honest, I felt like throwing up a few times as well after watching Arsenal, go into Chelsea and we got slapped up 6-8-2 at United. I had that sick feeling as well. But yeah, he's certainly a fascinating character, Arsene Wenger, And do you know what? I got to be totally honest. Anytime I see a picture of Arsene Wenger, or I read his book, or I listen to him speak, there is an element of sadness about it. I look at him and I think, I wish it would have worked out for him. I know it worked out for him in the early days, but, towards the end, and to see him like pushed out of the door and, saying that he couldn't let go of the football club, he was too emotionally involved. I do think there's a real element of sadness because, I think as an Arsenal fan, you can't help but have some emotional attachment to Arsene Wenger. He's part of the furniture. It's just sad that you associate some of Arsene Wenger with the failure towards the end. That's the disappointing thing. There's actually pictures of Zlatan in a home shirt. Yeah, he was at the training ground as well. Deal was there, but they didn't want to sign him. Matt said, whatever you think of his time with the club, I don't think anyone can argue his love of Arsenal. Definitely not. What I felt the issue was with Arsene Wenger was he got too involved in the running of the football club. I almost think, yeah, that, like you said, that young Wenger, as you said there, Zeke, young Wenger was the GOAT. Young Wenger was all about winning. I want to win. I'm not going to let Alex Ferguson win this title ahead of me. He was hungry. He wanted that. Towards the end, it felt like corporate. I felt like you had the winning Wenger at the start, then you had the corporate Wenger towards the end who cared about the finances. I'm not saying you shouldn't care about the finances, but ultimately you're there to win. Win the trophies, let them deal with the finances. So, listen, I have to admit, and a lot of people refer to him as Uncle Wenger and stuff like that, and I think we almost do look at him like that. So, yeah, and like you said, 11 million a year to be corporate. I think he was a little bit involved in the issues at the football club as well, and the problems and like he said, he found it very difficult to let go, and this is where I think the club are to blame as well, because I think he almost needed putting out of his misery. I think they needed to say, when that contract run out, sometimes they got to say, listen, that's it, Wenger, no more. Go somewhere else and enjoy yourself. Tuco said, Wenger's my second dad. I'm telling you, I think a lot of Arsenal fans felt that kind of family attachment to Arsene Wenger, like Uncle Wenger, But listen, we'll be discussing him a lot more over the next few days because, like I said, the film comes out this Thursday and it comes out on the 22nd on Amazon. So make sure, if you can watch that. But if I do go and see it on Thursday, Friday stream, we'll do a bit of an in-depth review about it. It's one of them, innit, with Wenger. It's like, I don't know, you just wish it could have worked out better for him. I do think he's a legend. I would love to see a statue outside the ground. I think this picture on the green screen here, this one, that should be the statue, lifting up that gold trophy. I think we've all got a love and affiliation with Wenger. It's just a shame the way it ended. I would have loved him to have won a title and left. Sir Alex Ferguson won the Premier League and left. So he left in the highest of steams, where Wenger was pushed out the door. And I remember going to games and protests before the game. It was horrible. But listen, Arsene Wenger, still a legend. You can't question his passion, and definitely a fascinating character. Big up Fran in the chat. He said, can't stay long, brother, and community, but drop a like and share the love. Big up, bro. Let me know if you're live today. Nicky said he became complacent after those brilliant years. I think what happened, and I've said this many times, football changed. Football went from, you can go and find a hidden gem in France, or you can go, when Wenger came in, it's like there was a whole untapped market of French talent around the world, and he was ahead of people, and people couldn't keep up with him. He got Thierry Henry, left winger, played him up front, best striker we've seen in the Premier League. Vieira, sitting on the bench, AC Milan, best midfielder we've ever seen at Arsenal. Kolo Toure, nobody had heard of him. Lauren, all these players that he was unearthing. And then all of a sudden, everybody caught up with him. The dieting, that he brought into Arsenal, eating right, training properly. All the clubs were doing that. They put scouts all around the world, so there wasn't untapped markets. Chelsea blew up the market with the finances. They went and matched the spending that only really Manchester United had. Then Man City turned up. And I just felt like Wenger couldn't cope with the way football was changing. He was very much attached to that. This is how you should run a football club. And the finances got away from him a little bit. And, he was always almost trying to be smarter than football. And you can't do that. Shahira said, Wenger is our legend no matter what. He is. And listen, I think he should have a statue outside the Emirates. Did you watch the convo between Wenger, Rio Ferdinand and Jill Ellis on the future of football? More interesting than talking about all these players he nearly signed but didn't waste the time, in my opinion. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that interview. I'll try and watch that. Fran said he's on at 4:30, so make sure you tune in for that, people. The stadium move restricted Wenger. I mean, and that's another interesting one. Did we need the stadium move? I suppose financially, a big club like Arsenal couldn't afford to have a 38,000 stadium. But at what cost did it come? Did it cost us? It's interesting that he said Highbury was his soul. He said his soul was in Highbury. Therefore, saying that soul hasn't been moved to the Emirates. He never had that same feeling. Levan said if we stayed at Highbury, Wenger would have won more titles. Highbury is a fortress. I miss it. I always had that feeling. I only went to Highbury a few times. I've been to the Emirates, obviously, loads of times. But when I went to Highbury, I always had that feeling like this is an intimidating atmosphere. We're close to the pitch. It's loud. You can hear the fans, It was so tight-knit, the connection between the fans and the players. When you go to the Emirates, I kind of get that feeling like it's welcoming. I spoke to a player that has played in the Premier League and he's played against Arsenal a few times. And I've said to him before, what's the Emirates like to play at? And he said to me, I feel like it's a bit of an audition. Because he plays for a team a lot smaller than Arsenal. He said, I feel like it's an audition, it's a big pitch, it's a carpet, you're not that close to the fans. He said, you can quiet them down quite easily there because, we're not as hyped up as we were at Highbury. We went to Highbury expecting Arsenal to win. When we go to the Emirates, we don't really know what's going to happen. And he said, I find it like an audition. Now, I don't think anybody would have said that about Highbury. Highbury was, you're going to have a problem. The fans are right next to you when you're taking a throw in. We've got monsters here. We've got history here. We've got feeling and emotion. Now, I think you only get that with success. If Arsenal had won a couple of titles at the Emirates and we'd had them magic moments, I think that's how you start to build that atmosphere and build that special connection with the team. The problem is Arsenal have never won a trophy at the Emirates. And I know you'll say the FA Cup, but I mean in terms of you win the FA Cup at Wembley in the final. We haven't won a Premier League title at the Emirates and had that day. We haven't had that game that we can look back on and go, remember when we beat them? I remember when we beat Leicester, Danny Welbeck, last minute header, 15-16. I thought we'd won the title that day. Honestly, I remember leaving the stadium, Valentine's Day it was, and I said, we are going to win the league this year. Everybody said Leicester. I said, we've just beaten Leicester twice. We're going to win the title. And we messed up. Giroud decided not to score for 15 games. So we need to create them special moments to build that atmosphere inside the stadium. And I just don't think we've had that yet. Until we do that, we probably won't quite have that same feeling at the Emirates, which is unfortunate because it is a nice stadium. As I said, I think they need to. I think they need to do the Emirates up a little bit. The last few times I've been to the Emirates, looks a little bit, not well kept, shall I say. The players outside, the paint's kind of fading. I'm like, yo, listen, make the ground look proper, man. Marshall said, big up, Big C. You guys coming to our ground, Anfield. Do you reckon you can take something from this game? I think it will be Man United Part 2. You're going to smoke Arsenal. Much love to you. Hey, listen, Marshall, I know, listen, Liverpool fans are always confident they're going to win games at Anfield. are we favourites to beat Liverpool? No chance. Of course we're not. Liverpool have got a fantastic record against us at at Anfield, but we've got to go there, and you can't just go into a game of football in the Premier League just thinking you're beaten. Otherwise, what's the point turning up? You know, are Liverpool favourites? 100%. But Brighton drew with them. West Ham just beat them. You know, we've got to go there, keep it tight, frustrate them, and try and see what we can do. You know, have a go, you know. Fran said, modern day stadiums, modern day players, tactics all change the game for the worse. I mean, it's evolved, and unfortunately, we have to move with times. If you're going to compete financially, you got to have as big a stadium as possible in theory because of the demand for tickets. So you are going to lose some of that atmosphere. But like I said, I think success can rebuild that atmosphere, but we need to win trophies for that to happen. Why didn't we expand Highbury? Sometimes I think it's more expensive to actually expand a stadium because you got to think, imagine you've had a stadium up for, I don't know, 100 years. You may have renovated it a few times. Then you want to build on top of that. Is all of that underneath strong enough to take you building on top of it? Also, you got to play inside a stadium where there's building work being done. You lose more revenue. Sometimes it is actually cheaper to build a whole new stadium in the long term. So Emirates therapy, I'm telling you, man, that's what we're doing, because I think it's important to look at, you know, what's happened to Arsenal. We have a lot of unexplained reasons. Why did we leave Highbury? Why did we go to the Emirates? How come we moved stadium and sold a player every single summer? Yet Liverpool have rebuilt Anfield. Tottenham built a more expensive stadium than us. I don't see players being sold left, right and centre. How come we went through years of selling players, but we're now not in the promised land? You know, how come we're not spending like Chelsea and Man City, despite the fact we were years ahead of these clubs moving stadiums? So I think they are important things to discuss. That season still hurts. Yeah, and a few people, somebody just said they had tears in their eyes. Honestly, that day, and a lot of you, you know, you'll all remember that game, man. That day, I remember sitting there. I was about to leave the stadium because we hadn't played well that day, and we got the free kick, Mesut Ozil. And like I said, it was Valentine's Day, so I thought, let me get back. And I'm thinking, let me just see what happens here. He whipped it in, and when Welbeck scored, the scenes, man. I wish I was doing content them times. People were just jumping on top of each other. Hats were flying off, drinks all over the place. Welbeck jumped over the thing, came into the North Bank. I said, that is it. We are winning the Premier League this year. And then Olivier Giroud went 15 games without scoring, and that was that. So, but we need those moments of history. Ziggy said the Champions League final in 2006 broke Wenger and the team. One thing that was always a little bit crazy with Arsenal, I always felt, was we didn't deal with rebuilds very well. I don't think we rebuilt our team very well. You look at other teams. When a big boy went, a big boy came in. There was always a move to replace. We replaced big players with a lot of unproven players. And this is again where I think Arsene Wenger took a lot of chances with Arsenal. You look at it and you think, okay, when Sol Campbell left the football club, where was the big dominant centre-half? Why didn't we follow the same blueprint? I think Wenger got a lot caught up in the whole Barcelona thing. He went from big, powerful, strong, fast players to small, technical players. He kind of followed that Pep Guardiola blueprint. But that was very difficult to follow in the Premier League. So Premier League's a lot more physical. Lewis said, Curtis, when we were told we are moving to Ashburton Grove to compete with Europe's elite, Wenger, Dean and Hillwood told us a false dream. All three of them are massively to blame. And as I said, I love having these discussions because, what if we move to the Emirates to compete, why are we not competing? We moved there to compete, but we're not competing. In fact, we've gone backwards. We were competing at Highbury. Now we're not competing at the Emirates. Why? Why are we not spending as much as some of these other clubs? We were told to compete with Bayern Munich. We're now competing with who? West Ham? No disrespect. That's where we're at right now. But I suppose we need time. We know it was going to take a long time to recover from Arsene Wenger. I think the whole football club had Arsene Wenger's blueprint and DNA on it. You've seen it with Manchester United people. Manchester United got rid of Fergie. They're still trying to recover now. Their fans want this manager gone. They want to start it all again. So I think when a manager's been at the football club for so long, 20 odd years, it's very difficult to move on from them if you don't bring the right manager in straight away. And I think with Unai Emery, we struggled. We've then obviously gone to Arteta, and it's taken a long time for him to figure things out. Dominic said Vieira never replaced till this day. I mean, Thomas Partey's the closest thing to it, but he's not, obviously. Nobody is on Vieira's, level. But I think sometimes you've got to go for a big player when that player leaves. You can't let Vieira go, but then your replacement is Francis Coquelin or somebody like that. You've got to go and get a superstar midfielder to try and fill that void. It's a big gap that you've left, and I never felt like we really did that. Look how many years we didn't replace Van Persie. We let Van Persie go to United. We could have signed Luis Suarez. We could have signed Gonzalo Higuain. Instead, we went Lucas Podolski, Olivier Giroud, Lucas Perez, Danny Welbeck. We literally signed about 5 strikers before we eventually got Aubameyang, but we needed that striker as soon as Robin Van Persie had left, and that's the problem with Arsenal sometimes. John Layat said, I wish Highbury was expanded instead, but the Highbury and Islington Council wouldn't let us. Because Curtis, remember, Highbury was on a road of houses. I miss Highbury, man. It's really missed. I mean, some days when I go to the Emirates, I go to Highbury afterwards. They've turned it into flats. I mean, imagine living in them. I would love to live there. Imagine living in Highbury. But yeah, like you said, these houses all around it. I think to rebuild on top of it, it just wasn't possible. So yeah, unfortunately, we had to move on from Highbury. And Shamak, yeah, another one. We signed about 5 strikers. And listen, some of them were decent in their own right. Podolski had a hammer of a left foot. Giroud was all right. Lacazette was all right, but, we could have got Higuain from Madrid. There were rumours of Benzema at times we were linked with. Luis Suarez, 40 million and £1 was obviously one that we'll never live that one down. BX Gunner said, Wenger allowed the mentality to be destroyed over time. We went from giants to peasants to a laughingstock. Teams forget how feared and dangerous we were. And it's a shame, it really is. That's a bit harsh, but I know what you're saying. We went from teams were scared of us to people felt like they could bully us, Gonzalo Higuain is and was trash. And listen, when he was at Napoli, man, he was a goal machine. I can't lie. He was ripping up the place. Adebayor was decent as well for a little bit. We got one or two good seasons out of him before he left. Benzema could have been the French connection. Sanogo, the postman, yeah. Couple of legends own flats in Highbury. Of course they will, Imagine how much they would sell for, selling a flat. People, it's that time again. It is that time again. It's 24 hours later than usual, but it had to be done. The show is not the show without this being done, so I had to do it. Wrong one. Oh, yeah, do you know what? It's interesting. I just seen that Pogba apparently could be out till the new year. Now, bear in mind, we play Manchester United after the international break. Paul Pogba suffers major injury blow ahead of Arsenal and Chelsea clashes. And if you look closely here, Pogba ruled out until the new year through injury ahead of Arsenal game. So, I mean, listen, gives us more of a chance, hopefully, of beating them. Apparently, Varane could be out, Pogba could be out. I think Pogba's just saying, you know what, I've had enough of Ollie, man. I'm chilling till the new year. I'm out of it. So it looks like Pogba will not be playing against Arsenal and possibly Varane as well. Yeah, it's that time, people. Get the syrup ready. 24 hours later than usual. Polymation business. Every day I'm waffling. Mick Ross, he's probably got that smile on his face now, to be honest, because he's living the high life. 10 games unbeaten. He's living that life. He's loving life right now. So we'll be doing a quick press conference reaction. We're only going to skip through it because it is 24 hours later. So some of the stuff he's saying might not be as relevant as it was before. But let's see what he had to say after the victory against Watford. And there was a little bit of controversy, of course, with Claudio Ranieri complaining that Arsenal should have kicked the ball out of play and this, that, the other. Like I said, people, when Danny Rose has spent half the game kicking us all over the pitch, don't be surprised if you don't get treated respectfully by the team at times. So, yeah, we're shameless. We got to take them 3 points, man. I would have rather taken the 3 points doing what we did than giving them the ball back and we draw that game 0-0. If that makes me shameless, then boy, I'm shameless. I've seen Luis Suarez bite people on the shoulder. I've seen players, racially abused. I've seen players break players' legs, all sorts of things on a football pitch. What? We didn't pass the ball back to you because you kicked it out. It's not the end of the world, I'm afraid, and I am shameless with it. Yeah, I think Danny Rose been eating them waffles as well, because, boy, Danny Rose, Danny looks like he had a good summer, man. I don't know what happened to him, but, hey, Arteta on the win, Maitland-Niles and the injuries. I love seeing the players celebrate, like, yeah, man, togetherness, happiness, people, we're moving. Mikel Arteta was proud. Man's like a proud father. Mikel Arteta was proud of the side's consistency and perseverance as we earned a valuable 1-0 win at the Emirates to go into the international break. Biswadeep, do you rate Dries Mertens? Yeah, I thought he was good. He's getting a bit older now, isn't he? But he was good a few years ago. We take shameless latte, man. We ain't here. Listen, we all remember unbeaten run, 49 games. Wayne Rooney dives, mate, over Sol Campbell's leg. They get the penalty, they win the game. Do you think Man United fans care about that? I'm not here to worry about Watford fans' feelings, man. Let them cry about it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to worry about them. So, yeah, we needed the win. Man said the waffles, milk, the syrup, everything's ready, people. Let's hear what you got to say. So, Mikel Arteta said, on Ranieri being unhappy, that Arsenal didn't return the ball to Watford before the goal. He said, I have to defend my players, my team and my club. I would say we are the most honest of all of them, and at some stages we can even be naive. But still, if he feels like that towards our club, I have to apologise if that's the case. But for sure, there was not any intention to take advantage. Listen, I respect it. I respect it, mate. You know what I mean? Like Endot saying, shameless 3 points over sportsmanship 1 point. How many times have Arsenal been done by VAR? Even a few days before, MacArthur literally volleyed Saka's calves off, mate, and didn't even get sent off. So, even at Leicester, Aubameyang spins Johnny Evans, he rugby tackles him down. The same thing that Laporte gets sent off for the same weekend, and the brother don't do anything. And you expect me to come here and start feeling sorry for Ranieri? And I'm with you, Craig. I respect that from Mikel Arteta. It is what it is. Defend your players, your team, your club. Let Ranieri worry about it. So yeah, I'm with him on that. Yeah. It's not often you see me and Mikel Arteta agreeing. We're starting to build a bit of a bond here. It's taken a long, long time, but I'm starting to, I don't know. We'll see. There's a long way to go. If we get slapped by Liverpool, I'll be back to square one. But listen, we're making progress, We're making progress, people. On if it was a misunderstanding, he said, I don't know. I focus on the performance and what we won. I want to talk about what we did and why we deserve to win the game. Yeah, just move on. On the turnaround after the first international break, he said, it was about what I could see around me, the faith that the players had and the staff have in what we do, the belief, the sense of belonging that we are a team, and the unity they've showed in difficult moments. Let me skip through it a bit, man, because he's on one, and he said they face criticism and move forward. We've been lucky. We have supporters who in difficult moments have shown that they love this club and they realise how important it is for our players to play the game with them. When that happens, you can see what the atmosphere is like. Listen, I'm seeing the light in the distance. As I said, it's way over there in the distance. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I don't forget the stuff that we've been through, but we are trying to rebuild it. So I'm trying. I want to support the team. I want to support the manager as well. So we're trying. We're trying. I like the fact he's getting a bit more harsh. We ain't here to feel sorry for Watford. On if Aubameyang will stay on penalty duties, he said he will stay on penalties if he's happy to do so. You will miss when you take penalties. That's part of your career and the job. but we'll try to help him. Now, for me, I got to be honest. I think that he should come off penalties. And some people say that that's harsh because he has scored a lot of penalties for Arsenal. But for me, I've been a penalty taker before at clubs. I think if you miss one penalty and you've scored a lot before that, I think that's fine. You can continue. If you've missed 2 penalties in a row, for me, you got to come off. And you know me, people. I'm Team Aubameyang. I want Aubameyang to do well. But Aubameyang 2 penalties in a row, and the way he missed them as well, the lack of conviction in the way he's hitting the ball, Laka got to take the pens off him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Laka's got to say, give me the ball, bro. It's your time. You got to come back in 3 months. Someone was saying that Lacazette hasn't missed a penalty for Arsenal. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but Laka's got to take it. I mean, some people saying ice-cold Ainsley, but the problem is Ainsley won't be on the pitch every game. You know there'll be times he's on the bench. So for me, Lacazette's got to take the penalties. Carlton said, Curtis, did you watch the Wenger interview with Rio? No, a couple of people just said that. I'm going to watch that afterwards. Does anybody know, is that stat true that Lacazette hasn't missed a penalty? Gunnar Vettel said, Laka missed 0 penalties for us, 8 in 8. I mean, there you go. There you go. He's got to take the pens. Laka hasn't missed since 2017 before Arsenal. It's your time, Laka. Missing penalties become psychological. It's sociological, he's put. Mishane said, Mikel just said that for the media. Don't worry, Aubameyang is off penalties. I think he should be making that decision for him and saying 2 penalties, it's Laka's time. Marshall said, you reckon Laka will be given a contract extension? I don't personally. The only way Laka stays at Arsenal for me is if Laka was willing to accept a short-term contract, maybe a year, if he didn't have a good offer from elsewhere. But I genuinely believe Lacazette will have good offers because I think there's a shortage of good strikers out there. On the Ainsley Maitland-Niles performance and what he's seen from him in central midfield, he said, first of all, I see a different player in terms of his urgency, his commitment, the clarity in his play, his purpose. Since we made the decision, it was clear what I was seeing, that I wanted him to stay because he was going to be useful. He has a huge talent because he's versatile enough to adapt to almost any position. Today, we made use of him to do what we had to do in the game, which was really important. I mean, has Ainsley got a future in the middle of midfield? Is he just going to be a squad player? Sometimes I think in football, versatility is not always a good thing because you're almost a jack of all trades, master of none. Is he seen by Arteta as that guy that if I need a midfielder, you can drop him for a couple games? If I need a right back, you can go there. But does he really, really respect him as a midfielder? Now, what I will say, the fact that he played in midfield when he had El Neni on the bench, a midfielder that he's relied on a number of times, would show that he has got some faith in him now, hopefully. And I thought he put in a very good performance. And as I said, I named him as man of the match and Sky named him as man of the match. I think he's better than El Neni. I've got to be honest. I think he's better than El Neni. Gunnar Gregg said, did you see Laka's goal for Leon on Twitter yesterday? Unfortunately, his yard of pace has gone now. And it's interesting, man. I remember when we signed Lacazette, I actually thought he was quicker than he was when we signed him. I was really excited when we signed Lacazette, but I would say it's been an okay bit of business. I think he's been a very good player. I just think the problem is he hasn't hit the back of the net like we would have liked. Big up to Lucas Life. Hope you're well, bro. Rowan said, Ainsley can be our Wijnaldum. I mean, yeah, maybe. Wijnaldum was a versatile player at Newcastle. Came to Liverpool and nailed down that midfield spot. Matt said, regarding penalties, with Lacazette going in the summer, I think we need to move him away from taking them. I'd put ESR on pens. I mean, is ESR good at penalties? That's the question. Let's get back to it, people. On his clarity and purpose, when I see him in training sessions, I see how he prepares. I see the questions he asks and his level of attention. Everything you talk through, his response is immediate. He's a really clever boy. Really clever. Really intelligent. Clever Ainsley, Man said, when I see the questions he's asking, man said, oh, what a question that is, Ainsley, mate. He's probably going, why the hell am I not playing centre midfield and Mohamed El Neni is? I think he needs to be able to. Here we go. It's back, people. We were never going to get through a press conference without our favourite word of Mikel Arteta turning up. Clever Ainsley. He needs to be able to transmit that and how much he cares with his body language and his determination. He's come a long way. I love it. Clever Ainsley, you know. Oh my days! I love some of the things he comes out with. He loves that word transmit. I said, "Who's a clever boy then, Ainsley? Who's a clever boy, fella?" Clever Ainsley, mate. I'd love to know what questions is he asking that are wowing you that much. But listen, fair play. Ainsley's improving. He's learning. Gunavettel said, Mikel Arteta, I love Ainsley's hair. He transmits that to how much he cares on the pitch. Yeah, I love the waves on top of Ainsley's hair, and he must have been wearing the do-rag at bedtime, you know. His hair's nearly as good as mine. Looks like Mikel's trying to adopt Ainsley. Yeah, maybe he's going to, you know, replace Bellerin or El Neni if he goes, you know. But, hey, the prodigal son settings, as you say. But let's move on. Clever Ainsley. On morale after being 10 games unbeaten, he said it's much better. It's always great for any manager or a team to win before the international break. We're now going to lose 70% of the squad. They are going to go to the national teams. Hopefully when they are back, we can maintain that and keep the run going. I mean, listen, what I will say, people, we desperately need our players to come back fit. You know, listen, I love seeing Arsenal players get picked for their country. I'm delighted Smith Rowe and Gabriel have been called up. We need all of our big players to come back unscathed. You know, touch wood, we can't have no big player getting injured. We have got a very difficult game. We put our next 3 games after the international break: Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United. 3 very different challenges, but hard games. You know, Liverpool away, one of the toughest games in the Prem. Newcastle, Eddie Howe's just been appointed. You know, he will be, you know, they'll be hoping for a new manager bounce. Man United, you just don't know what you're going to get with Man United at the moment. We could go there and batter them. We could go there and Ronaldo deals with us. You just don't know what's going to happen. So it's interesting. It's interesting. We need these players to come back. ESR would be playing for under-23s. He won't figure much for England. Yeah, as I said that earlier as well, Jordan, you know, he's probably going to play less football for England than he would have for the under-21s. He would have probably started both games. Scarrett said, would you take 6 points? Would I take 6 points from Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United? I'm going to say no. What I will say is if we got 6 points, it wouldn't be the end of the world, assuming we got the 6 points from Newcastle and United. But I just think you've got to aim for 9 or 7, you know. We can't... If anybody else is playing Liverpool, West Ham, anybody, you don't look at it as a foregone conclusion. You don't just go, well, you know, West Ham playing Liverpool, they'll lose. You believe Liverpool are going to win because they're the better team, but you know that West Ham have got a bit of a chance. We need to stop having that mentality that, oh, we're playing Liverpool away, we've lost. We've lost. Oh, it's Man City, we'll lose. Liverpool are favourites all day long. They're better than us. They've got a great record at us. But we're in good form. We need to go there and show something. Go there, get a draw, put up a performance and make life difficult. We've been to Liverpool so many times and been slapped all over the place. This is not quite the Liverpool from a couple of years ago when they battered everything that got put in front of them. They're still a great team, still one of the best in the country. But the mentality, you know, and I want to see how we approach that game. You know, I really do. Let's get back to it. He said, on winning in spite of setbacks, he said, I think it was really important today to be clear that we are going to have moments of frustration. We expected a certain game plan from them. That is going to happen, and you have to go through that. You have to be consistent. You have to be determined. I'm going to skip through it. He said, we never lost sight of that. I believe that's why we won the game. I mean, listen, they did well. They did well. It was a tough game. We could have drawn that game. Maybe last year we'd have took 1 point out of that. And that, for me, is important. Some days you just got to grind out a 1-0. On whether Tierney is still the first choice left back, I mean, how can he even answer that question? It's a silly question, really. He put, well, Nuno is playing because he deserves to play. He's been exceptional in all the performances where he has been given the opportunity. But I cannot say anything different with Kieran. Kieran has been superb for us. Kieran's been injured. He came back 2 days ago to do his first training session. This is what we need. 2 top players that are raising the level in their position, and I'm happy with that. And at the moment, for me, Nuno Tavares is the first choice left back. He's going to have his biggest test of his Arsenal career so far after the international break, because our first game is Liverpool at Anfield. Their right winger is Mo Salah, who is probably the best player in the Premier League at the moment. So we're going to find out over the next few weeks how good Nuno Tavares really is. But what I will say, he's been exceptional so far, and he deserves to keep that place. I would be disappointed if Mikel Arteta brought Tierney back in for Nuno Tavares, because I don't think he deserves to come back in. Not only has Nuno Tavares been excellent, but Tierney wasn't playing that well before he got injured. Tierney has proved himself that he's a quality player. Before that, I'm not saying we give up on him, but I think you're sending out the wrong message to Tavares if he was dropped. Shane said, big up Curtis, love the channel, my bro. I think it's impossible to succeed under an American model unless you have a world-class manager running the operation on and off the field, a voice. A lot of people have said that because I think people look at the Liverpool model, American owners who don't invest huge amounts of money, but the reality is they have a world-class elite manager, and that's what has made the difference. So we will see in time whether Mikel Arteta, number one, is a good enough manager, and number two, if he can work with the owners that are at the football club. Javion Quake said, Curtis, would you rather take top 4, no silverware, 5th with EFL, or 7th with FA Cup and EFL? It's a great question, and I'm going to contradict myself massively because I say all the time that football is about winning trophies, right? Football is about winning trophies. So by right, I should be saying, give me the trophies. But where Arsenal are right now, if you gave me them options, I'm taking 4th. I'm taking 4th because not only does that prove that we're good enough over 38 games to finish in the top 4, we're back in the Champions League with much more revenue, with an ability to attract better players, and we're just desperate to be back in that competition. So we've won the FA Cup, a year or so ago, and it didn't help us that much. We didn't build on top of that. So I would have to take top 4, even though, man, I love winning trophies, and going to those finals. Most people saying, top 4 with no cup. I think we'd have to. Champions League settings, man. Let's get back to the waffle settings. And like I said, just quickly in the comments, Liverpool away, Mo Salah plays right wing. Who are you starting left back? Are you bringing Tierney in because you believe he's defensively a bit better than Nuno Tavares, or are you sticking with Nuno? For me, I'm definitely keeping Nuno. I think he's held on to that shirt and performed well. And I think you're sending out the wrong message by dropping him. The only other thing, he could go to a back 3 and play Tierney left of a back 3 with Tavares at wing back. But I just don't think he will change like that. Snake Eye says the dog Nuno. Most of you say Nuno. Although Niles says Kieran Tierney. Nuno. Most of you say Nuno. Some people saying 3 at the back. Yeah, I'm going to start doing polls. How do you even get the poll on there? Do you just click on the comment bit at the bottom? I haven't actually put a poll on a video yet. I'll figure that out today. We'll start doing polls from tomorrow so we can get some polls going. PG said both 3-5-2 or Kieran Tierney has pocketed Salah in the past, but hopefully both. Pace and movement, Nuno can cope. Chris said Tierney is better defensively, no doubt, but he cannot drop Nuno. He's earned it. I think he has. Nuno stays for me because we need his speed and mobility, and he also might push Salah backwards. So yeah, I would stick with Nuno. On Smith Rowe and whether his performance was a response to not being picked for England, he put, Gareth made the call. He knows Emile really well. I'm sure he's got a plan for him. It's very important in football to be patient. Go step by step. When you make the step, reinforce it. Make sure it's a secure and safe step before you make your next move. And of course, he has now been picked. So he's right in what he's saying there. maybe Nuno left wing back and Tierney in a back three. I mean, yeah, maybe that's how we have to deal with Liverpool. I would personally love to just go there and play 4-4-2 and keep doing what we've been doing. Get Lacazette to drop back in when we haven't got the ball, to become the third midfielder and try and hit them on the counter attack. I would literally play exactly the same team, apart from Thomas Partey comes back in. On whether Partey and Tierney will appear for their international sides, he said, let's see what happens with Thomas. He wasn't available to play today. He's got a muscle injury and we don't know how it's going to evolve. Let's take it day by day. Kieran is going to go with the Scotland squad. He was training inside the stadium today and he will go with Scotland. So it's going to be interesting. I did read today that Thomas Partey will not be playing the first game for Ghana. They've got 2 matches and I believe he won't be playing the first one, but could be available for the second one. We need him to come back. I'd love Arsenal to pull him out of that squad completely. If he wasn't fit enough to play for us, why should he then go off and play for them? But you know how these things go. Players obviously are desperate to play for their country. So for me, it's very important that Kieran Tierney... Tierney has trained, so he's a little bit different. But Thomas Partey, I kind of hope he doesn't play and comes back to play for Arsenal. So we need him back. We need him back, that is for certain. We got a difficult game against Liverpool, and Thomas Partey is absolutely vital to what we're doing moving forward, people. 1.3k in the comments. Let's have a few minutes of your comments before we get out of here. Can we get 1,000 likes on the video? Will be much appreciated. If he said, our midfield is too light when Partey doesn't play. Now, that'll be the issue against Liverpool, If we're going there with Ainsley and Lokonga up against, Henderson, Fabinho, and whoever else they play, Ox or Thiago, there's a lot of experience and power in there. And I think it will be difficult. We need Thomas Partey back for that game. Kelvin said, Big C, I would be worried playing 4-4-2 without Partey. Listen, I agree. If Partey's not back, you've got to put a third midfielder in. If he is back, maybe we go along with 2. Salou said, but Curtis, we Ghanaians want to qualify for the World Cup, so Partey must play. Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you in that. I understand you'll want the country to qualify, but of course, from a selfish point of view, what would be very frustrating is if Partey went and got injured playing for Ghana when he wasn't fit enough to play for Arsenal. So, like I said, apparently he's not going to play in the first game, but probably will play in their second game for Ghana. So we'll have to see. There was a bit of transfer news regarding Vlahovic, and it's not good. It's not good, to be honest. The rumours are that he's not prepared to leave in January. So it looks as if any hope of that deal happening is not going to happen. I didn't expect it to happen in January. There was a little bit of hope and optimism. Can we convince him? This, that, the other. But it looks as if it's not going to happen. Reports coming out of Italy are that Dusan Vlahovic is not considering leaving Fiorentina before the end of the season and will assess his future next summer. Now, it makes sense for him because he can sit down, relax in the summer and consider his options, So do we make a move for him in the summer? Again, I think these kind of deals are down to what competition Arsenal are in next season. If we're in the Europa League, then maybe we've got a chance. If we're in the Champions League, we've got a big chance. If we're not in Europe at all, we've got absolutely no chance. It also depends what other teams come in for him, So we'll have to see with that. Mr. Epic said you can use up to 10 seconds of Premier League footage, then pause it and start again. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to read up on it, man, but they certainly weren't happy with what was happening. Craig said, Curtis, love to see Wright and Campbell come on your stream one day. Bro, this is what I'm asking for. I've reached out to Wrighty, and obviously through Kevin Campbell as well. I'm hoping he can have a word. It's a stream we've got to make happen, and I'm speaking it into existence. It will happen. We'll get it done, people. We will get it done. Before we get out of here, I'm going to finish off with this picture because I think this is a lovely picture Arsene Wenger and Cesc Fabregas. You know, people always felt there was a lot of bad feeling between the two of them. But it was nice to see, you know, last night, hugging him. He said in one of his interviews as well that Wenger was like a second father to him, and I just think Wenger's a legend. You know, it really is. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie, hopefully on Thursday, if I can get a ticket sorted out for it. Somebody said they can sort me a ticket. So if I do go and see that, obviously Friday's stream, we will talk about that a lot, and we will get into that. Yeah, it is a bit heartbreaking. The lost son, he should have brought him back. He had the buyback option. He never brought him. You know, he should have signed him back. Let's be totally honest. Fabregas still, for me, one of the best midfielders I have ever seen at Arsenal. I loved Fabregas at Arsenal. Father and son settings, man. Beautiful picture. One Rovers Vlogs, big Curtis, keep smashing it as always. Big up to you, bro. You can feel the warmth and the love between them, man. You should try and get Henry on here too. I reckon you can make it happen. Listen, it's one of them where I need to like bump into him at an event or something. Henry, I don't think was at this event last night. But yeah, listen, we'll make it happen. Ian Wright, Henry, Burkamp, you know, we've got to try and get all these legends on the show eventually. We're out of here, people. Hopefully, you know, they won't remove this video after yesterday. I think I've behaved today. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. Over 1,300 of you in here. Make sure you like the video on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. What we got coming up? I mean, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back again. But I'm going to line up some collabs, try and get 1 or 2 people on this week and a couple on next week, just to break it up a little bit and, you know, get a perspective from other people. Big up to all of you. Hope you enjoy your day. Thank you very much for tuning in. Smash that like on the way out and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care, everyone. Bless.